Herschel Walker has some issues, from saying that he graduated in the top 1% of his college class when he didn't graduate, to magical disinfectants for COVID. His views might work in the primary, perhaps not in the general election.
Donald Trump is our leader, and people say, Herschel, you played football, but I said, guys, I also was valedictorian in my class. I also was in the top 1% of my graduating class in college. At one time, science said man came from apes. Did it not? That's when you go to the science.
Every time I read or hear that, I think to myself, you just didn't read the same Bible I did.
Well, this was interesting, though. If that is true, why are there still apes?
Do you know right now I have something that can bring you into a building that will clean you from COVID as you walk through this dry mess?
Do you support new gun laws in the wake of this
What I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. I like to see it and everything.
My favorite New Jersey fan.
In recent weeks, I feel like we've all watched the candidacy of one Herschel Walker for the Republican nomination for a Senate seat out in Georgia. We've all watched it in a bit of horror as this guy has had gaffe after gaffe, seemingly just unable to string together just basic thoughts about what his policy proposals are and what he thinks. And even when he's not doing that, just spewing outright lies, like we mentioned on a previous video here at Rebel HQ, where he mentioned that Donald Trump never said the election was stolen. However, this guy, Herschel Walker, just did an interview with fellow Georgia native, rapper, activist, now journalist, Killer Michael Render, on his show. And I gotta say, Herschel Walker looked way more coherent and moderate than he had previously shown while he was in the midst of that Republican primary.
President Trump never asked me, and I need to tell him that. He never asked. I heard it all on television that he's going to ask Herschel. He's saying Herschel to run. President Trump never came out as Herschel, will you run for that Senate seat? Herschel run for this? He never asked. So I'm mad at him because he never asked, but he's taking credit that he asked.
Why take away from the power of privacy to make yourself so public when so many politicians, I've watched them talk about Democrats and Republicans, whether it was marriage, whether it was things like college accreditation. Joe Biden even has, they say you overtalked yourself, Joe. You wasn't as high in the class as you said you were.
I love the Lord Jesus. And I said, my parents raised me that if something is going wrong, got nothing to do with who I am, what I've done in life, but what I can do to help someone else. Right now, there is a problem. There's a problem with the racism. People are calling each other names. Guys, we come so far. Martin Luther King done an incredible job. And right now we're taking things back, and I'm like, guys, we got to come together. And I told President Trump and Leader McConnell, I said, wait a minute, you endorse me and you endorse me, but I do this. Y'all may have endorsed me, but I got to do it my way. Y'all may, because I've got to do it. You guys, y'all do your thing, and thank you for the endorsement, but we got to do it the way Herschel want to do it, because the people got to trust me, not trust you guys.
It's kind of hilarious that politics have devolved to such a place that this guy just doing the basic political doublespeak maneuver when people win the primary and they're running in the general, they move back towards the center, so to speak, which is what Herschel Walker is, I guess, doing here in some of his statements. But I think it's cool to examine some of the that he said. The first one, he got asked about NIL in college athletics, which is basically name, image, and likeness, and college athletes can now be compensated for commercial usage of their name, image, and likeness. They used to have to do it. They used to do it for free for their schools in NCAA. And he basically was like, he said he's against it only in so much as he thinks the money should go into a trust, the interest from which should be used to pay for the college of underprivileged youth, which is pretty cool. Obviously, part of that is a bit of a crock of shit because these guys earn this money. And yes, of course, the cause of poor people getting to go to college without going into extreme debt and having a chance to enter the middle class is the goal. But I don't know that taking the money out of the pockets of people who earned it, is exactly the way to go. Again, especially in the richest country in the world. Another thing that our boy mentioned, he was asked about critical race theory. And Herschel Walker comes out and says, look, I think black kids should be educated about American history, which just is not the mainstream stance of the Republican Party. So I think that was pretty noteworthy. And my favorite, honestly, my favorite thing about it was when Killer Mike asked him about President Donald Trump's statements to black folks that, hey, what have you got to lose? You should give it a try. I thought his answer was quite illuminating as far as Herschel Walker and his response to that. Herschel Walker's response to that was essentially, look, it's not like black leadership has done a whole lot for black people in the past. They put up black faces up there and nothing ever gets done for the masses, which is something that we've said over here on this program trillions of times in the past. So it turns out Herschel Walker might not be a complete monster, idiot, bumbling buffoon, but rather just your run-of-the-mill neoliberal dirtbag who thinks the markets and, the financial class can solve anything, but, it's pretty reasonable on the woke stuff. That's a turn that I didn't see coming. Not like it's the best thing that could ever happen, but it's quite interesting to watch nonetheless.